So we're here this morning in a very sunny Vass, and we have the one and only Mr. Adam Chubbock to my left, otherwise known as Chubsy. For those who don't know, Adam heads up the flying fish training program out here in Vass, but I'm not going to talk too much about what he does. He's going to tell us, because I think it's probably a good idea for him to give the insight into how it all works. So, Chubsy, give us a little bit of background on you first off, sort of how did you get into windsurfing, seasons, that kind of thing.
Okay, cool. So I started water sports when I was about 10 years old, messing around on lakes, sailing and paddling around on anything I could get my hands on, and qualified as a sailing instructor when I was 18, and went to get a job in a place called Cruson Plage where they do the Deafy Wind.
Yeah.
Turned up and was just faced with windsurfing going off in front of me, and everyone blasting around on the flat water. I was like, I need a bit of that. Yeah, so I taught myself to windsurf got planing and got to a level of windsurfing on bedsheet sails and metal masts and all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Nobody else I was working with was really that interested. I remember it was getting dark, and they came to pick me up one night in the centre, and I was like planing along full beans on this metal masted sail, and they were like, how have you done that? You know, out every night doing it.
Yeah, great.
And then I qualified as a windsurf instructor, and kind of the rest is history really.
Because you've done a number of seasons now, haven't you, prior to flying fish?
Yeah, so I've been doing seasons for 12 years now. And Vassaliki's been my summer home for 9 years, which has been awesome. You know, it's so hard not to come back here. Really, it just has so many different aspects of why I think it's amazing, and why I'm passionate about using it as a training location, and how I've seen so many people come through and develop through this place.
Yeah. How did you get the flying fish gig?
How did I get the flying fish gig? Well, basically I was here working for Club Vass, living the dream, loving life, and then Andy Barnes, the guy who was running it at the time, out of nowhere just said, I'm leaving, I think you should take it. And I was like, wow.
For those that don't know, just to sort of step in, Andy Barnes, bit of a Vassaliki legend, like master of the no-handed lay-down calves jive and all that kind of stuff. So Barnes, big shoes to fill.
It was the original guru, yeah, and it was big shoes to fill, and kind of like, I just thought, I'm not going to try and fill those shoes, I'm not going to be Barnesy, I'm just going to try and do it in my own way, and you know, and I've really enjoyed it ever since.
Cool. So how does it work for you in terms of day to day, as in your role? We'll sort of get into what the students and stuff do in a sec, but in terms of what you do, how does that work?
So what I do is usually try and fit in some fitness and things before work. We've got a fitness program on Tuesdays and Thursdays that we do with our students.
Yeah.
And then we have a morning meeting with my staff team at 9:30. Just double check what's going on, let everybody know what the plan is and what everybody else is doing. And then 10 o'clock we have a morning meeting with the flying fish. Usually a little bit of banter about what went on the night before, and just check that they're in full functioning condition to perform to the best of their ability.
I remember that.
Just collect everybody, you know, as you do. And then we have a chat with them, and we get them to read the weather forecast and kind of look at that and plan out the day.
So that's an interesting point. So straight away hands-on, then wanting them to have an understanding of what potentially will happen on the water, so they can organise their sort of water life, if you like, themselves, rather than having someone spoon feed them.
Totally. So the guys on the flying fish training program, we try to get them into the mentality to kind of work and act like an instructor and like a watersports professional from day one, and we kind of like introduce that to them gradually. Now Vassaliki is a very unique place. You know, it's one of the best windsurf locations in Europe when it works, and it has obviously a weather forecast, but that looks totally different to what happens on the water due to some local effects. And having an understanding of that is pretty much key to being able to work here successfully.
Yeah. How many students are you taking at the moment per course?
So we can have up to 16 on the windsurfing and up to 6 on the dinghy sailing at once.
Okay.
We also do the intermediate windsurf instructor courses and the advanced courses. So at the moment we've got 8 on the windsurfing and 6 on the dinghy sailing.
Right.
So that's our first course of the season, and the second course being like the peak season course. That's up to 12 at the moment on windsurfing, 6 on dinghy sailing.
And are these guys, you know, are they generally windsurfers? Have they got prior experience, or are they coming brand spanking new green to the whole concept?
That's a good question. A little bit of both.
Right.
A little bit of both, and we get the guys that have been coming on holiday here every year since they were this high, and they just want to work here and do the thing, and that's great. And we also get people who've done very, very little, and some people who've never been on a board before.
Yeah. Okay.
And actually that's great as well for us, because we can train them from scratch. They have no bad habits, and they actually get to a really good standard by the end of the course.
Personally, and being an instructor? Or?
Yeah, both.
Okay.
Both.
Okay.
It's kind of, there's 2 aspects to the course. There's training someone to be good at windsurfing, which we do our best at, and you know, most of the guys will be able to water start by the end of the programme, you know,
Right.
if not calf jibe.
Yeah.
Have a real priority for them to learn to water start, because I feel like that's the key skill where you're opening the key to the shortboard rack. It's like you can take anything you want.
Yeah.
We're not upballing anymore, you know,
Yeah,
and confidence goes up. So then they go out in stronger winds, and that's great. That's my kind of priority for everybody, if they can, on the personal side of windsurfing.
How many people do you get, if any, sort of doing the flying fish course that have natural ability and sort of go from, let's say they haven't done any windsurfing before, they learn, they get in the straps, and then suddenly, before you know it, I've got one person in mind, Steve Flack, if anybody remembers Steve Flack out there, they sort of end up being, you know, pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, there's a good amount of people that will get around calf jibes and be doing calf jibes and duck jibes by the end of their course.
And what about sort of
and if I think about how long that took me to do, I don't even want to go there, you know, like, you did that in 6 weeks. And the guys that go a bit further, you know, chop ups, forward loops, a few forward loopers.
Yeah, so people like that sort of get better after doing the course, as in they progress beyond the calf jibe stage.
Yes, we do get that kind of. We get the guys that are into the aerial freestyle, and we get a few forward loopers and stuff like that after the start windsurfing instructor course. Obviously, when people come back to the intermediate and the advanced, then they're normally better at pushing the limit.
Yeah, right.
And that is one side. That's kind of like half of it, and we get people up to a really good standard of windsurfing. Which is awesome. The other side to it would be like the personal development side. When people turn up and they're shy and they're not really looking at you getting off the bus, and they're not really making eye contact, and they don't really want to talk to anyone, and then, you know, 6 weeks later they're a rock star and the hair's gone blonde, and they're like, how you doing, what you doing, I'm going to entertain a group of people on holiday.
And I think that's an important point, isn't it? You know, it's the fact that people do these courses, and it doesn't just make them a better windsurfer. It can, not always, but it can make them a better, me, I was one of those people, it makes them a better person all round.
I think it's made me a better person as well, but that's a huge development, and people will come out of the programme and use those skills that they've learned, those personal skills, in everything that they do in the future. You know, they can communicate with a wide range of abilities and personalities and all that kind of thing, and they can teach people what I think is actually a very complex sport, isn't it?
Yeah, it is a complex sport.
Complex sport with many different kind of aspects to think about. So
But not just windsurfing either. This is obviously dinghy sailing as well.
Yeah,
we're talking
dinghy
about
sailing and diving.
And diving.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
diving,
we offer like 0 to hero courses in dinghy sailing, windsurfing, and diving. If people come in with prior experience, they will just join the course later on. So we have 6 week, 4 week and 2 week options. Some guys will come up to for as long as 12 weeks, and they will go away qualified in dinghy sailing and windsurfing.
Okay.
They normally don't go away. They normally will then get a job on Vass Beach and stay for 1, maybe 5 seasons, you know, depending on.
Yeah, that's great. What about jobs elsewhere? Are there, I mean, we hear at Windsurfing UK that we spoke to the guys at Nielsen a couple of weeks ago, and they suggested that there was a bit of a shortage of instructors within the industry. Do you agree with that?
Massively. I have so many emails of people saying to me, Chubsy, I need this person, can you send me some good quality stuff? I really need this qualification.
Right.
And they're really struggling, which is, you know, I think it is a real shame, because there's opportunities going there that could offer people a lot, and it's nice to know that pretty much I can guarantee that anyone comes off a flying fish course, they will get a job.
Okay, that's good.
Definitely, and there's so many different choices out there. They can either work with kids or go anywhere in the Mediterranean or stay here in Vass or go in the UK. Whatever suits their style, pretty much they will have the pick of the jobs.
That's great, it's really, really good.
It is great in that way, yeah. Yeah.
What about sort of age demographic, if you like, of people that do these courses? You know, I think there could be a bit of a perception that you're probably going to be maybe 18, 19, 20, and that's the sort of age you're going to come and do a season.
Yeah.
Is that the case, or?
Not at all. I mean, what you've got is the opportunity to come to Vasiliki and do a windsurfing course for 6 weeks, which allows your windsurfing to develop on all levels using the amazing brand new kit. You know, just be involved. As you can see, it's like a heart that's beating of windsurfing. It's just being around it. We've had board loop simulators in the pools this morning, the kids club going out and ripping it. You know, everything that's going on, you just learn by osmosis.
Yeah.
And that can offer a lot to people on all levels. So you've got what we call the 18 to 25 demographic. They kind of stick together.
Yeah.
Okay, they're the guys coming out, potentially living abroad for the first time. You know,
away from mum and dad.
Away from mum and dad, learning to party, learning to drink, learning to socialise, all that stuff, and they do have a great time. They will either be before uni, instead of uni, or straight after uni.
Yeah.
Right, but they kind of stick together as a group. The next bunch is what I'd say is like young professionals, someone who's coming in around about 30-ish, something like me. They've had a career, and they do have a career. IT stands out. Other careers like engineering, that kind of thing, and they go, I've done that, I've got a career, but I want to break from it, I want to go and do something cool, but I want to have something that I can take away from it. I don't just want to go backpacking and whatever. I want to actually get a qualification and an experience, and then they get the skills to windsurf, so then they can go, you know, Morocco, Cape Town, Canaries. They can then go to places like that, and you know, travel the world windsurfing and or teaching. You don't have to then go do 10 years of teaching.
Why do you think IT? I mean, that's an intriguing
I don't know, it's just something that last year, I remember we had like 4 guys that worked in IT and were learning to be windsurf instructors all at once, so that's just why it stands out.
Do you think it's that? Because there's, I mean, I sort of have a dabble with the sort of tech industry.
Yeah.
And is it a mindset thing, do you think? Because like you say, windsurfing being quite technical to learn, and if you've got that sort of cog, I suppose, in the brain, I think that kind of thing makes it easier to progress, learn windsurfing, that kind of thing, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, they all did well. I think it was just a case of that they lived in London, they had a lifestyle which was the same every day, and they weren't really necessarily pushing their bodies physically, and they weren't getting adrenaline kicks, and they weren't, you know, living the lifestyle that they wanted to experience. And, you know, you see it on social media and everybody's having a great time and out in the sunshine.
Social media is a bit of a bugger though, isn't it, really?
Absolutely.
I mean, I know you guys use social media quite a lot. I mean, what's your experience and sort of opinion on social media within the windsurfing industry, just as an off-the-cuff question?
Social media, we use it because we need to. So you might find that our courses are a little bit more expensive than ones based in the UK,
touch on
for
that
example.
Point.
Yeah. So I think it's important to use social media because everybody's on it, to show them what the benefits would be to coming to Vasiliki, Greece and doing a windsurf instructor course, because we are quite unique, and we do it because we need to, and we're trying to use it to promote our courses.
Cool. Yeah.
I do see the other side to it, which is the effect that it has on young people, and kind of confidence, you know, anxiety, all those kind of things that come from social media. And we're touching on a big subject now.
Right, we won't delve too deep into the psychology of it.
It's not the psychology, but it's like people coming from a UK base where they're looking at social media and it's like everyone's having a better time than me, everyone's better looking than me, everyone's this, that, and this. And I try to encourage the guys to put the phones away in Vass and let's just live life, let's talk to people,
do the sport.
You know, let's do the sport, let's get stuck in, let's get fit, let's, you know, improve,
have a good time,
and kind of, not let that influence our lives too much.
Right, that's exactly right, isn't it? I mean, this is a tangible thing. Windsurfing is something you can actually do physically in the reality, rather than looking at your phones or whatever and sort of focusing too much on that. I think that's an important thing.
Yeah, and we're concentrating degree, and you're going to learn that by chatting to everyone in town. You know, there's such a huge water sports demographic here. It's like going to town, in the bar, chat to these guys, those guys, what's going on, where are they from, why are they here?
Yeah.
You know, and yeah, make the most of that sort of thing.
Yeah, no, it's great, it's great. So you touched on it just, and I said we'd talk a bit about it. So obviously, cost of these courses, they're not cheap.
No, they're not cheap, but it depends how you look at it. It really does. So we have use of brand new equipment every year. You know, in one of the best windsurf locations in Europe and the best water sports locations in Europe because of the top level dinghy sailing, the high performance catamarans, you know, and the diving as well.
And that's via Wildwind, isn't it?
Yes, exactly. So we operate from Club Vass windsurfing through Wildwind for dinghy sailing and through the Nautilus diving school for diving. So you're probably looking around about £3,000 for a 6-week course. You break that down, £500 a week. It's probably a bit cheaper than you pay for a holiday in the sunshine. I mean, you know yourself.
Yeah, yeah.
If you look at it like that, it's actually pretty good value for money.
What about sort of, you know, support grants, for instance, for this kind of course?
So we do have people that get military grants, so people that are resettling from the military.
Okay.
That happens quite a lot. There is personal development loans available, which I know many people have taken before on flying fish courses. And there's always a bank of mum and dad.
Mum and dad, yes, of course.
The bank of mum and dad, if you can prove that how much it will be valued in the future.
Yeah, okay.
And it's tricky because people come up, parents ask me and stuff like that, what is the value? And I'm so passionate about it because I've seen so many people go through this program and then, you know, they take their communication skills and their people skills and then they add it to their degree and then they're like 10 times more employable, or they take it. So for example, I'm going to use Ellie Ross, who came out here, did a windsurfing instructor course, works at Club Vass.
Also Muzz's girlfriend, or was Muzz's girlfriend.
Muzz's
Still is
girlfriend,
yeah.
Muzz's missus.
Muzz, sorry, yeah, my bad, yeah.
Took her English literature degree, put it together with a love of extreme sports. Now works for Red Bull, rocking it, international, international journalist. Yeah. Perfect combination.
Yeah.
Bethany Mercer, another good friend. She worked at Club Vass, did a flying fish course, worked at Club Vass, and then now is part of Global Shots, probably one of the most entrepreneurial.
Yeah, Global Shots, of course, being one of the main photography businesses here for many years before they were sort of taken elsewhere.
And now they're working for Land Rover Snow and Rock. You know, they have
Paddle.
an international top level business.
Yeah.
Through the skills. Another good friend of mine, Tommy Two Pumps. We have to bring out Tommy. So Tommy was probably one of the most intelligent people I've ever met in my life. Also one of the biggest geeks I've ever met in my life when he arrived in Vasiliki.
Okay.
Did a flying fish course, you know, and did all of the stuff through working for Club Vass together, you know, and turned into this, like, he has this people skills and, you know, he's just a really personable character. Put that together with a Masters of Engineering. He's now running big projects, servicing the submarines of the British Navy, you know, and leading projects and leading big teams and all of those kind of things.
Yeah.
It's like, he goes, I would never have been able to do that if I didn't do the windsurf instructors and didn't work at Club Vass and didn't build up this kind of like ability to talk to people.
And this is the thing, isn't it? It's on the face of it, it's just messing about on windsurf kit and potentially going and having a season in the sun.
Yeah.
But actually, there are so many more foundational core skills, you know, that you can use and adapt and transfer to everyday life by doing something like this. Yes, okay, windsurfing, water sports, dinghy sailing, whatever. All of that is at the heart, but it's so much wider than that, and I think that gets missed a lot by many people, really. You know, and I think that's where flying fish do a good job. You know, flying fish. Of course, there are other training providers as well, but you know, you're one of the bigger ones, and you know, do the job, as it were, do the job well.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we're trying to. The other development that I see for you guys on the course is actually their fitness levels and their ability, that, you know, their connection with their body, you know. So it's like we're coming down in the morning, we're doing a swimming stretch, you know, and then on.
I need to do that.
Exactly, we all do, but even more as you get older. But their connection with their body and the understanding that your body as a windsurf instructor is your biggest asset, you know, and it's that that importance of looking after yourself. As well, the connection with the ocean. You know, it's like we're on the ocean every day. We make a living from it. It is amazing. It is stunning. It is so inspiring to be out there every day. So therefore, we need to look after it. You know, and it's like, let's get that mentality going and start with the instructors, and they'll educate, you know, the people who they meet on holiday and that kind of thing. So it's like setting some, like, kind of like attitudes for life. Yeah, I would say.
Yeah, definitely.
And you might not want to be a windsurf instructor for the next 10 years. I mean, it's worked out quite well for me, and I still love it. But and you know, we come up against these things like, well, when are you going to get a real job?
Yes.
You know, all that stuff. And a lot of people, well, what are you going to do if you break your leg? It's like, okay, we'll figure that out when we get to it. But it should be part of what you do to develop yourself. It doesn't mean that you're only going to do that for the rest of your life.
Yeah, exactly.
And you know, many guys here now on the summer seasons, they're studying medicine, engineering, all that stuff, but they're coming here in the summer, and that that keeps them going through their exams. They go, I don't want to fail my exams because I want to go to Club Vass for the summer, and I don't want to have to fly home for retakes. Yeah. So therefore, I'm motivated to get my studies done.
Yeah. And big word, motivation. Absolutely.
Motivation. Yeah. You know.
And so, sort of that kind of looking after the body and all that kind of stuff, that sort of leads on to what I was thinking. I think I was having this conversation with you the other night, and windsurfing traditionally in the past, you know, sort of in its heyday, or let's say boom time, 80s, 90s, you know, there was all this sort of, you know, emphasis on partying, shall we say, and having a good time. And I've heard the comment a few times within the industry that there's a lack of colour within windsurfing these days, as in the personality, you know, and the sort of, should we say, let's describe it maybe a bit hedonistic, has sort of disappeared. Everybody considers themselves to be an athlete. It's much more about, let's get up and, like you say, do a yoga session. I'm not suggesting everybody goes out and gets on the beers the night before, but at the same time, that kind of thing does seem to be a bit lacking. You agree with that?
I think it has changed slightly, but don't get me wrong, in Vassaliki there's still plenty of opportunities to party, have a good time, let the dogs out, as we say. You know, we still have a Friday night barbecue that's fancy dress and all those kind of things. So for me, it's about finding that balance. You know, if you're going out drinking all the time and you're out of it every night, you're not going to do well. That's not healthy. You're not going to do well. You're not going to improve yourself. But at the same time, I don't want people to stay in their rooms. I don't want them to like not go out every night, because that's a huge part of the social development. And you know, we still love to go out for a few drinks and, you know, and socialise with your mates. And that's the thing about Vass. There's always so much to do. It's like you want to go out and party, you want to go out and drink, listen to live music.
And that's regardless of it being windy or not, as well, isn't it? I mean, it's a good location just to be based and mill about.
And it has a bit of everything. And my ideal ultimate instructor is someone who can go out on a night out, have a great time, you know, and be Mr. Sociable and get around and have loads of fun, you know, dance like no one's watching, all that stuff. But then the next morning turn up and be, you know, turn up, be on form, you know, deliver good lessons, and that's the ones the guys will go, wow, that's.
And ultimately, of course, that's down to the fact that, you know, if you're an instructor, you're being paid to do a job because the people you're teaching have paid a lot of money to be taught by you.
Yeah, exactly.
So you have to turn it on.
You have to turn it on, and that's another thing. We are not creating robots over here. And in Vassaliki and Flying Fish, what's really good is you get to see little bits of very good instructors along the way. So you get to see like people who are doing amazing freestyle, and then you get to see people who are very technically accurate, and then you get to see people who are like entertainers, you know. And I go to the guys and go, take a little bit from each person that you like, add your personality, okay, keep it safe but make it fun, and go for it. That's great. Get your personality in there. You can't be like somebody else. You can only be like yourself.
Because touching on that as well, it's an interesting point, and I hope you don't mind me bringing this up, but you've got Vassaliki freestyle element. You know, there are obviously a lot of the very good freestyle sailors from the UK are based out here. You know, they're throwing down all the latest tricks and such like that. You're not.
No.
But I do know you're noted as being the best in Vass, at the whole carving freestyle scene.
Yeah.
So stuff like monkey jives, donkey jives, you know, all of that stuff, which to me is as impressive, if not more so.
That's it. I mean, I was actually inspired by Dave White when he's coming out and he's
Twinkle toes.
Twinkle Toes. I had the pleasure of coaching with him, and again, he's got a very different style to many other instructors I've worked with, whereas he's an encourager. He's just going, you can do this, go and do it, and try this. So yes, the duck jibe, monkey jibe, pirouette jibe, all that kind of stuff was when I was teaching a lot of advanced at Club Vass, and the kind of guys that, what was the motivation or what was the objective for a week with advanced guys is to teach them a new move.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like, yes, we can tidy up your carve jibes, okay, but let's do something new. Let's do an upwind 360. Let's do something else.
Rather
So
than the staple forward loop.
It doesn't have to be a flacker or a Vulcan. It can be, you know, a duck jibe pirouette, you know, or that kind of thing.
Because some people just don't want to do the freestyle bit, do they?
No, and Vasiliki, there's some amazing freestylers and it's really inspirational, but also let's remember that we're part of the water sports industry, which has everything from supping to racing, windsurfing, wave sailing, free ride, freestyle, you know.
No foiling.
And now foiling, you know, and it's important to do a little bit of everything and do what motivates you.
Yeah, no, that's a good
What
thing.
gets your heart beating? What is really makes you excited to grab your kit and go? And whatever that is, you go and do it.
For me, I'll be honest, nailing a reverse monkey jibe is as fulfilling as nailing a decent clean forward loop.
Yeah.
And actually, on the face of it, it looks more impressive.
Yeah.
I think.
Well, I think I can do forward loops on a good day, and I think duck jumps and forward loops all you need. You know,
Yeah.
Let's just go out and have it. you
Yeah,
know.
absolutely. Absolutely.
And you don't have to be the best top level freestyler to be a very good instructor. But you do need to push your own personal sailing.
Yeah.
And to do what makes you happy.
Yeah, absolutely.
On the water. And through getting reasonably good at windsurfing here has allowed me to go to Cape Town, Morocco, Australia, you know, places like that, and go out on the water and experience amazing different locations. And ride waves and, you know, be out there with whales and dolphins and turtles and, you know, get jobs in the Caribbean. And, I've done a bit of kite surfing, I've done a bit of paddleboarding.
Yeah. Well, you've done a bit more than a bit of paddleboarding. We're going to talk about that in a second.
I've had a go.
Yeah. Just foiling, I sort of mentioned that as well.
Yeah.
Well, talk to me about the foiling. You're probably one of the first people to have done it in Vass?
One of them, yeah. I would say we had Dougie from Boardwise actually brought out a foil that he had.
Big up Dougie, Boardwise crew, by the way. Yeah.
Big up Dougie, all the Boardwise crew. Big love. Yeah, and I just had to go on that, and I was like, "This."
You get on with it straight away?
Yeah, well, it was challenging. I was like, okay, cool. But it was something that I wanted to get better at, you know. And it's a lot of fun. It's different. Maybe it's not for everybody, but I really enjoyed it.
You think it'll be part of the Flying Fish curriculum at some point?
I think it will, yes, because we do instructor training. So when the instructor courses become more widely available, I would like to think we'll be running them out here. And it's mainly based for anyone who's an intermediate instructor already. So someone who can teach foot straps and harness, they can then go on to be a foiling instructor.
And you've already got your ticket, haven't you?
Done that one, yeah.
Well, you did that with Sam.
Did that with Sam and Tris at the OTC. And that was cool. Do you know, it was really nice to be involved in the development of a sport. Yeah, and sit down with the guys and go, right, this is what sport's all about. How are we going to put it out to people? How can we make it accessible? How are we going to break it down? And, you know, how are we going to teach it?
So do you think Vass might end up being littered, as it were, with foilers?
Good question. I'm not sure that it will take over Vasiliki. Vass being actually one of the windiest places in Europe traditionally, so I think people come here for high wind windsurfing.
Yeah.
But it will definitely be a part of life, I think.
Difficult to manage in a busy bay.
It's difficult to manage, and there will need to be some areas that are put in and that kind of thing. It is in the early stages, but I think it actually works when it's not super windy. You know, so then you can actually do it late in the evenings or when the early wind comes in and there's not loads of windsurfers out. So as long as those two are kind of staggered, it gives more options for people to get on the water here. And it's kind of a perfect day, really, isn't it? You go foiling when it's light, and then later
back
on,
at the 4.7 later
when
on.
it boots in.
Yeah, totally.
So yeah, it's interesting to see sports develop and progress. And you know, I watched Paradigm Lost in the winter, and I really liked that video of the progression of the sports. You know, how it all started with surfing.
Yeah, it all
and it all comes back to surfing.
It does. It's all surfing underwater. It's it's carving on the water, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's what we enjoy. That's why everybody gets fixated on the carve jive.
Yeah, it's that feeling, isn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm excited for the future to see what happens, and I think it definitely has a place in Vass, but I don't think it's going to take over.
Yeah, okay, that's good. It'd be interesting to see what does happen with it.
Yeah.
Stand up, just while we're talking about it.
Yeah.
So you've been involved in stand-up paddleboarding as well for quite a long time.
Yeah.
Since, when did you get into it?
2011 really. We had Chubs here at Club Vass, and we were a bit like, what's this all about, let's have a go. And Tony, the owner of Club Vass, very kindly bought us a race board. Basically it looked like a spaceship, like nothing we'd ever seen before. It was a grey Starboard All-Star. We've still got it here actually. Yeah. And me and my friend Jay were thinking, right, what can you do on this thing, how far can you go? And we were on Google Maps measuring distances from here to say like.
So you went straight down the distance
to Nidri and that kind of thing. But we were messing around on the paddleboards quite a lot and doing it with our groups. But as soon as we got this race board, we were like, I wonder what you can do and how far you can go on this thing. And as soon as we'd measured the distance to Left Harder, we were like, well, once you get to Left Harder, you might as well go all the way around the island. So we were the first guys to paddleboard around Left Harder Island, and it was in the local newspaper and all that stuff.
Just confirm the distance on that?
It was 108 kilometres.
It's fair old. I mean, we were the first to paddle around Hayling, which is only 17 odd miles, so 108 miles.
Yeah, we had no idea what we were letting ourselves in for, and I actually don't think that I would recommend it to anybody. But you know,
it was hot as well.
It was really hot. It was way windier than we thought it was going to be.
Okay.
And it took longer than we thought it was going to take, obviously. But I am a big fan of doing journeys on the water, so you know, whenever I can, I like to get out and go somewhere. You know, I'm about the journey and about, you know, going somewhere new and seeing new things and new places. So, and on new kit and with new experiences. So whenever I can get out and go for a longer trip, then I do.
And I think as well, I mean, I don't know whether you agree with this, but SUP in particular has kind of been the saving grace of many a windsurf session.
Definitely.
And obviously having them here means people can get out pretty much all day. Like you say, if you combine it with the windsurfing later on, or if it doesn't blow at all in that particular day, you can just get out, go for a paddle, take your kids out, all that kind of stuff. And now many of the centres, they've got stand-up paddleboards in their racks.
Yeah. It fits so well with windsurfing. Obviously it's more time on a board, it's more working on the core, the balance and being out there. Perfect conditions in the morning we have here when it's glass flat. It's amazing, and it gets you out there and it gets you going. Still holding a paddle, which is a bit like holding a boom.
Exactly.
So it's kind of, you know, you've got
not the flying fish curriculum though yet.
So we do paddleboarding as part of our fitness sessions.
Okay.
Yeah, and we will use paddleboards when there's no wind or when we have that opportunity to go out and run fun sessions. We have run instructor courses in the past.
Alright, because you'll be super qualified, yeah?
I am be super qualified, and we've run instructor courses in the past, but at the moment there's not a legal requirement to have a paddleboard instructor course. People are not really at the moment looking for it or wanting to pay for it, but I think we do send people away with an understanding of how to do it, an understanding of how to teach it, and understanding what it's all about and why it helps. And you know, with a little bit of paddleboard racing yesterday, all the Club Vass guys getting out and doing a SUP championships, loads of fun. Yeah. And what was the windsurfing opportunity?
That's it. Yeah. So other than about maybe 40 minutes in the evening, but yeah, I know what you mean. It's like I did the SUP race and there were probably 25 maybe people doing it. It's great.
It is great. We've had SUP championships here before, so we've had morning racing, we've had moonlight paddles before, and all that kind of stuff.
Do you think there's an argument for a bigger stand-up paddleboard race event maybe?
I think there could be, yeah. Yeah, I think there definitely could be. It just needs somebody to get stuck in and organise it.
Yeah, take the ball by the horns.
Definitely. My thing is seeing people at lower levels getting out and doing that. And I always say to anyone, if you can experience competition in any kind of water sport, then really you should do it, because it makes so much difference, you know, to sport.
Yeah.
Didn't have the opportunity, and people go, oh, I don't think I'm quite good enough to compete.
I'm like that. I tend to shy away from competition, I'll be honest.
Get stuck in and give it a go.
I did enjoy
what
yesterday,
say.
I'll be honest.
And you'll just enjoy it. It gets that next level of adrenaline, and something to talk about afterwards. And it gives a focus to improve your technique.
Yeah, definitely.
All those kind of things. So wherever possible, we do mini competitions with a flying fish.
And we've talked about windsurf foiling. I know you've been dabbling with sup foiling as well. Any thoughts on that?
Hard, fun, great behind the boat.
Right.
So top tips are do 1, 2 or 3 sessions behind the boat on sup foils first.
It's pretty hard to get that opportunity though, right?
It is. I mean, in that you just basically get
somebody with a boat.
You need somebody with a boat, but it doesn't need to be a big boat because you don't have to go fast. That's the thing. So you need somebody to get a mate with a boat, or borrow one, hire one with a load of mates, and do 2 or 3 sessions on the foil. And it's a great feeling when you're on the flat water and you're up foiling and you're carving around behind the boat, and then take it into the waves and pick your day very carefully, pick your conditions very carefully, make sure it's not too crowded in the surf I'm talking about.
So you did it in Oz?
In Australia, yeah.
How was that? How were you received by the rest of the surfing lineup, shall we say?
Well, we took care to go out on a day where it wasn't particularly busy.
Right.
Some people were like, wow, look at that, and they were chatting and saying like they think that's really cool, and they were watching us and stuff like that, and a few people grumbling, but I think if you act responsibly, people respect that.
Okay.
And, things need to progress and sports need to go to new levels, and
that is a new
everyone
level.
will always have different opinions on it, but if you want to do it, just go for it.
Yeah, cool. Think that'll ever be a thing with flying fish?
Sup foiling? I'm not sure about how it would work on flat water.
Does flying fish do surfing in Oz?
Yes, they do. They have done surfing, but I don't think that will be something that comes into surf instructor training as a thing. But flat water foiling could work as a downwinding sport. I'm not sure it would work in Vasiliki. I actually don't really know much about foil downwinding, but I want to do it.
It's good fun.
That's what I want to do. That's what I want to do. I mean, downwinding is, for me, is kind of like something I would like to explore.
Yes.
And I've got a paddleboard for downwind racing, and Moloch out at Oahu race is up there on my list.
And you said actually here, didn't you, in a real strong northwesterly, sort of over to one of the islands over there, could work quite well.
We do get good conditions. I've done small downwinding trips here. I'd like to do more.
Brilliant.
So much to do.
Yeah, there always is so much to do.
Yeah.
So, any final comments, thoughts on windsurfing, flying fish courses?
No, I mean, it's just I'm really lucky to be here and be based doing what I do. I get a massive kick out of seeing the guys qualify.
Another 12 years?
At least, yeah. At least. Getting the guys qualified, and then the guys who qualified last year, there's 2 of them working up at Nielsen and a couple working at OE. There's guys around the world, and I'm doing references for them, and loving it and living the dream. So
cool, nice one.
That's the idea.
If you want to find any more about flying fish, obviously you can find that online. I'll put some blurb next to the video in this particular article, and I'll put the link in there as well. So if any of you guys want to check it out, like Adam's already said, it doesn't matter where you are with your windsurfing, what stage of life you're in, where you find yourself in the world. You know what I mean? There's always the potential that you can come and do a windsurf instructor course or water sports training course and use it as a personal development thing, or take it and use it as a job thing, whatever. It's up to you, isn't it, really?
Totally, yeah. I mean, what do you think? Where would you like to become an instructor?
Where would I like to become an instructor? In an ideal world, I would probably like to go back to Maui. Maui's probably my favourite place in the world.
Okay.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, as you know, myself and another half did a number of seasons as well off the back of doing our instructor training courses. My wife did the flying fish course, just to throw that in, back in the day. But yeah, no, if I could go, it's a hard place to teach, very hard place to teach, as in you would probably have to be rolling around to choose the venue on the right day. But that's probably where I would like to be doing it if I was going to still be doing instructor courses, coaching that kind of
Okay.
thing.
And where are you going to send Molly when she?
Where are we going to send my daughter? Oh, she will probably want to come back here.
There you go.
My 3-year-old daughter already in the footstraps, not planning on hasten to add, but getting the experience of being out on a sail because she's got access to the right kit, as you've already said, the right inspiration, the right influences around her, the right venue, all of that kind of stuff.
It's been amazing, isn't it?
Yeah,
to see her
brilliant.
development and her excitement for the sport.
And stay tuned for an article about kiddie windsurfing as well on that front as well, probably using my daughter as a model.
Amazing. I always think of Vasaliki as like the biggest magnet in Europe. Everybody will come through here at some point and somewhere along the line. Maybe some people come back every year.
Yeah, I think you can, and perhaps we're guilty of it as well, but you can over Vass things. You can talk about Vass too much.
Yeah.
But the fact is, like we've already said, there's probably not that many, if any, locations like it in Europe in the summer, as in terms of wind conditions that you're likely to get. There's certainly very few that are set up in such a way. Obviously you've got windsurf centres around. The fact that you've got a number here that are all very good, and you can get on the water whatever your level and progress or learn or whatever you want to do, and then combine it with other elements like the SUP, even biking as well, land-based stuff.
That's the thing. I mean, all the publicity about Vass used to be, it was all about partying and freestyle, and actually there is so much more to it than that. There's biking, paddleboarding, there's the fitness if you want
walking.
to. Great social, walking, you've got the evening parties with the live music, cocktail nights.
I mean, that's the thing. I know a lot of guys in the past who've worked here who've been musos. They've ended up sort of forming bands and such like, and actually having their season almost ending up revolving around the music scene.
Totally.
As opposed to
that's how you get a job at Wildwinds. You have to be a rock star sailor or play a musical instrument, or preferably both.
Yeah.
And you're in.
Are they looking for a drummer?
They might be actually. They might be. Can you say?
Yeah, a little bit.
And as well, the island of Lefkada is stunning. That's just as inspirational. It has some of the best beaches in the world. So if you get an opportunity to go out and have a look around and explore the island, and then there's kite surfing on the north of the island. Amazing sights to see all around.
Great, yeah. Nice one. Well, check out Flying Fish online. Thanks, Mr. Chubs.
No worries, thank you.
For chatting to us.
Pleasure.
Check it out.